Saturday today. Let's analyze the situation. We've got a bit of a chill moment right now with the weekend here. We can analyze things, all right, without the hype. Analyze the scenarios with the pumps that we've been having for Bitcoin and some altcoins, and analyze some different projections that could happen in the next coming days and weeks, guys. How is everybody doing? Make sure to destroy that like button if you do enjoy the content. And let's go right away through the comment section. But first of all, let's start off with the previous stream. We started off with the possibility of Cardano holding the 78-79 cent level and actually breaking out those previous highs, which we did. We did get a nice rally on Cardano here, as we can see, bouncing here from the 50%. We did touch the golden pocket, got a major rally to the upside, as you can see here. And maybe some of you did get into a trade. It was a scenario at the beginning of the stream. I just liked the correction that happened on Cardano. We could not take a look at everything, guys. I wish we could. But overall, Cardano was looking sexy here at the 78-79 cent level to get a major rally to test those highs, because the movement down was looking very corrective. Not sure if anybody on the stream did get into a long position here. Just a nice little scalp here, day trade. So test those highs, take some profits, okay? Let me know in the comment section, anybody got into that Cardano long position that we started off with the stream just a couple of days ago, right? Let's go through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community and see what's going on here. MMA Shorts, hello. First commenter, I am entitled to a 𝗖𝗿𝗆 token analysis. Absolutely, guys. Make sure to drop off your tokens later on. We'll be talking about the price of Bitcoin, mainly, guys, because we are ranging, nothing too crazy. We did talk about the major resistance level just a few days ago. Okay, we were a little bit skeptical of this being the low, right? It's super bullish. This is just a liquidity grab from the higher low, and we just got to absolutely pump here in the next couple of days to take out all-time high. We mentioned just a few days ago that the range could continue, right? The range could continue, and that had to do with timing, right? This correction is very one-wavy. It was very fast, and the biggest resistance level, guys, let me know if anybody got into a short position here. I didn't personally, okay? I'm not too active trading on scalps and day trades. I will very soon, but not at the moment. But we mentioned this resistance on the channel, right? I think it was pretty obvious, right? If you have a basic knowledge of technical analysis, levels, and possible rejections, the main reason why there was kind of high probability in rejecting from this level was because of a V-shaped recovery. Was like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen, guys, okay? Overall, we are still bullish. We're still looking for high probability that the all-time highs is taken, but we understand with our knowledge that it's probably not going to form a V-shaped recovery, right? Let's be honest here, guys, okay? We keep it simple. We keep it straight to the point, right? And the biggest level of resistance, which is very common to reject, is after a major leg to the downside. We do have some lower highs, and that's where we rejected, guys, right, to the golden pocket. I know a lot of people do know this already, right? A lot of people do know this, so it's not having a crystal ball. Every technical analyst that has some basic knowledge, your favorite influencer was probably talking about this level regardless, right? So, but anyway, we did get that rejection of a couple of $1,000. It was an easy short day trade scenario that we just had a couple of days ago. Let me know also if you did get into that short position, right? Let's go through the comment section. Very, very easy. Saturday live, I smell altcoin season. Yeah, absolutely. There's a little bit of hype right now, of course, the last few days, right? We can get some stuff ready, okay, on some altcoins. Let's try and stay grounded here, guys. Just if we do get a major pullback, we can analyze a few altcoins, analyze the waves, and analyze if we do get a pullback, right? We really want to get into those pullbacks, just as we mentioned on Cardano, right? We did talk about stop loss beneath the golden pocket, right? Beneath the golden pocket, if you wanted to enter here at the 78, 79 cent level to reach out, 83 cents, 84 cents, basically get that breakout, right? This is literally what happened, right? On Thursday, it was just very corrective, right? We analyzed here the waves on the lower time frame. Easy peasy, guys, right? Some really, really interesting stuff. The main thing why we talked about this correction on Cardano is when you get a kind of a triangle here like this, okay, and you get a leg down, which you want to label your strongest wave down with high volume. You want to label it as your wave 3, your potential wave 3. Once that bounce comes up and overlaps the start of the rejection first wave, that, yeah, this for an impulsive move down doesn't look too strong, and you're likely just going to form that, in easy terms, a descending wedgie structure, right, and get that leg to the upside. And you're really looking at the 50% Fibonacci, right, golden pocket zone, right, to really hold and get that next leg back up here, which is, we had to talk about this, guys, because I don't have time to look at 10 altcoins, right, and just say, guys, these 10 altcoins, long here, long there, short here, right? We talk about maybe one or two, and this was very, very hot at the moment with that leg to the upside that we had in the last few days, and we did actually bounce from this zone, right? You can use whatever leverage, whatever capital. We always try and say, guys, stay responsible. This is just to make a little bit of gains, right? So, risk 1 to 2%, maybe you made 4% of your capital, maybe you made 3%, but overall, it did get that leg up, guys. We did bounce, so very easy, guys. It's too bullish. once we get these legs down, we know where the zone where where the price could bounce. Okay, so anyway, XRP, please brother, XRP, we got the legends here with XRP. Let me know if anybody got into ADA long, because we are traders, right? At the end of the day, I do have my spot bag. I am a cryptocurrency investor, but we look for kind of day trades, make an extra bit of pocket money, right? Or maybe several thousands of tens of thousands of dollars, right? It all depends on how much you're using for your trading. So anyway, we are very good, guys, in detecting these different movements, right? Just super happy that at least we get a few of the scenarios. Anyway, we are here to mainly talk about Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, what's going on? What is the highest probability? Is there a bearish case scenario? There is always a bearish case scenario, regardless if the probabilities are low, guys, because we can not only be super bullish, buy every single dip. We need to understand some invalidation levels that if they are crossed, I will start feeling a little bit bearish, guys. But for the moment, eventually, just going with the general rule of if you are bullish on a market is market structure. The general rule, you can take a look at any indicators, bearish divergence on here, there, we lost this moving average, the structure. The structure is the number one indicator, guys, right? Price action and structure is the number one thing. So the structure is eventually still bullish. So we're going to talk about the bullish scenario, which has the highest probability to take out all-time high in the next coming days, guys, right? Let's just keep it simple for the viewer. And of course, what levels do we need to hit to start being worried? Manage risk accordingly, right? We can talk about altcoin season. We do have a few altcoins, guys. Just load up your bags or get into very responsible swing long positions, right? With low leverage. Be responsible, guys, because there could be that shakeout, right? And in the shakeout is where people basically get shaked out, right? As the name says. Anyway, let's go right away. Saturday live, smells like altcoin season. Jack, much love to you, brother. Thank you very much for the super chat. Let me know if you guys can hear me clear, right? And you can see me. We'll go quickly through the comment section as the people do. Smash up the like button. I know you enjoy the content, guys. I'm here for you. The volume is okay, not too bad. The other day it was absolutely horrendous, right? Mark M, what's up, my man? 𝗞𝗔 500, yes, Andy. Kevin, no dip on daily, no buy. World War 28, hit the like for the GOAT, Andy. Thank you very much, my man. I wouldn't say the GOAT, but I have made a lot of money in crypto. Trading is very good, and it's hard to be a successful trader, right? You do take years, and I just want to share my experience, my track record, and I've been here since 2017, guys. 2017. Catch the very top of the previous bull run in crypto, and I went full on crypto in 2018, which eventually, changed my life, right? I was being a heavy investor in crypto since 2018. So yes, SFP from the Golden Pocket says, Jack, absolute legend. Jack did get into that Cardano long position. Spot adder, yes sir, says Alex. I got into that big long on ADA at 0.76. What an absolute legend. I mean, yeah, we've been really pumping here very, very aggressively. If you did get into a long, you did get into a long from the lower, even from lower. So anyway, very, very good indeed. Just getting into responsible levels, knowing where to put a stop loss as an invalidation, and getting into this nice long position, right? Everything was very, very bullish throughout the previous days. Suzanne, XRP just hold till 2030. Suzanne, much love to you. King Cheng, I'm shorting at 120.4K Bitcoin. It was a very acceptable short position, let's be honest. We were talking about this level for many days on the stream, right? We were very, very skeptical of this being the low, right? And there are a few scenarios right now. Eventually, the most bearish one is breaking down, guys. You form a lower high here and you break down. This was the easiest resistance to detect in a three-wave structure. It was worth the shot, okay? You got that order block, SFP level, hitting the golden pocket from the highs to the lows, and we don't need much more than that, right? The timing was interesting, right? Timing was very, very interesting because Time is important. Time is important because the market moves, most of the times quite symmetrical, right? The timing from a pump is similar to the retracement. Usually retracements are a little bit longer than the pumps, right? Or the dumps, right? The impulsive waves. Usually the corrections do take a little bit longer. And we realize that looking at this scenario, this would be too quick to label as a wave 4, right? This would be too quick. Is it possible? Yes, but it's not very common. It's not very common to form a very quick, sharp move down and get a V-shaped recovery, right? And as you are trading probabilities, you realize that this is an uncommon thing to happen, right? And as it's an uncommon thing to happen, we know that we could form a lower high. And what is the best level? Well, eventually it was that golden pocket, the only best level that we mentioned on a stream a few days ago, which is claiming the highs of this order block, right? Sweep of liquidity, and then that pullback of a few $1,000s, right? So, maybe you did get into that short. We talk about the levels here, guys, and then you need to take action. So anyway, we did get that pullback, and we do realize still even that we are looking at this wave 4. We are looking for the price to actually take out all-time highs in the next coming days till proven otherwise, because the structure is bullish, guys. I'm sorry, the structure is bullish, and we need to go with the main structure, which is to the upside, right, till proven otherwise, which would be getting down below to 108, 107k, right? It would be a very, very sharp move down. Then we can start thinking of, we're likely going to go to lower levels, but for the moment we are likely going to go to higher levels. And it's really simple to basically understand, right? The biggest move that we had to the upside, breaking all-time highs, has the highest amount of volume since we created the low right over here. And the movement that has the highest amount of volume is preferably labeled as your wave 3, right? It's the most common scenario in any market, right? The biggest wave with the highest amount of volume is usually labeled as your wave 3 till proven otherwise. But there is a bearish case, okay? There is a bearish case. There's always a bearish case, guys, okay? Which eventually, right, is really zooming out, okay, on the higher time frame. But it's still not the highest probability, I have to say. It's just, is it worth talking about the bearish case? It's forming a 3-wave structure to the upside, basically, and it's finished, right? You look at this to be the end of a correction in a complex WXY, and, you could technically count a 3-wave structure, a 5-wave structure here. So you've got 1, 2, 3 with a 5-waver that could complete a 3-wave structure. That means that you form a lower high in this zone and you break down in the coming days. I mean, let's be honest, it is there and it could happen, right? It's just, but when the structure is bullish, you just need to go with the bullish momentum, right? Like we have been doing throughout the previous weeks. We formed a very corrective structure in the last few weeks throughout June. Very corrective, guys. We are looking at all-time high regardless if it double tops or creates a swing failure pattern. All of the scenarios that we were mapping out here were just bullish, right? Could we take out 105k was one scenario and then move up? Well, we just get into another long position, right? Anyway, so we finally broke out. We need to go with the bullish case. We just need to go with the bullish case. So what are the scenarios? Nothing has changed. Price has been very, a little bit rangy. We got the rejection here on Friday from 120.5k. We moved down to 117k. What are the scenarios that are possible? I'm going to explain them, okay? The most bearish one would be having a successful breakdown here, right? Suddenly this, gets a massive wave down with high volume out of nowhere, and the price really gets aggressive, which I personally believe it's the lowest probability. The lowest probability is getting a successful breakdown beneath $116,000. 115K to be hit or 114K, absolutely. Still looking for that possible higher low if we revisit those levels, okay? We want to see some reclaims and some bullish market structure on the lower time frame to really, get excited, for that three-wave structure to be finished. How could the price develop throughout the weekend? Well, we talked about this on Friday. Nothing much has changed on Thursday, sorry. Nothing really much has changed. So we'll go through that, guys, together. I really want to go through the comment section, but just for anybody that is new subscriber or that hasn't been paying attention on Thursday, I want to go through the scenarios on Bitcoin, okay? The highest probability, the levels to pay attention, just for the people that are new or that missed out on the Thursday stream that is very much aware of the scenario. Let's analyze Bitcoin, please, says Jerome. In Bitcoin we trust, says no way Jose. No way Jose, there we go. Yeah, much love to everybody here, okay, guys? Almost looks like a diamond pattern. Is that on the higher time frame? Okay, I'm not sure if you're talking about this. It almost looks like a diamond top pattern. Oof, that's broken down, right? Yeah, we don't really pay attention to these scenarios, but it is true. What is important in a diamond pattern is that you need to have your highest amount of volume in the middle, and it's not really a tradable pattern, right? It's like I said, it doesn't have priority. It has also low probability in playing out, but this would be it, guys, a diamond top, right? Anybody that is not aware, we're forming a diamond top right now where the big move is in the middle, little range at the beginning, little range later on. It's just really not tradable, right? Not really tradable. So we're going to go quickly through the comment section and we'll continue here. Pac-Man, my brother, much love to you. Happy Saturday. Guys, make sure to have a great time. Spend time with friends, family. Today, this morning, I went to play golf with my mate, okay? Went to play a little bit of golf and it was just letting the Telegram community, right? I'm a little bit private with my life, guys, but, just sharing a little bit of what I do also in the weekends. So anyway, I had a nice game of golf this morning. Anybody that wants to know. And I just wanted to point that out, okay? Anybody that's curious, what did Andy do this morning? Probably nobody wants to know. This is why I'm quite private with my life because it's for me, right? Your life is for you. Anyway, thanks, brother. Hope you're having a great weekend. Pac-Man, much love to you, brother. I love you lots. Can you check the 1 hour time frame and it looks like scalp longs? Yeah, we can take a look at that on Bitcoin, okay? Do you think there is an altcoin season? I very much believe so. I very much believe so that we are going to get that major rally on altcoins, guys. There hasn't been hype. Not a huge amount of retail are in just yet. And, throughout the end of Q3, entering into Q4, we could see those pullbacks, guys, but the pullbacks are going to be very easy to detect if they are corrective moves, okay? This is the moment that we have the second opportunity, right? Either for longs or either to buy on spot, whatever you want. There will be some kind of steep correction. We want to see if it is a correction, right? So anyway, we'll be live. Just like Cardano, which was the lower time frame just on Thursday, guys. This was like, I know a lot of people are interested in scalps. And on the beginning of the stream, I said, guys, if you want to get into a long, Cardano is correcting right now. We detected that this was corrective, just as I explained at the beginning of the stream, because your major leg down here did overlap from the pivot lows. And you realize that if that is the case from the strongest move down, that, your strongest move down, you want a big epic move down and get a pretty steep movement to the downside here. And I mean, this is the 5-minute chart, guys. And what we said is, look for a higher low, guys, and take out the highs. If you want to jump into a long position, then, you take that with a pinch of salt. But we very much detected that this is likely going to be corrective, and where we should bounce is in between, 78, 79 cent level to claim 83 cents, right? I mean, if you're using a bit of leverage and stop loss beneath the golden pocket, which golden pocket was hit, but this is literally your invalidation area. And I'm not sure if anybody, people want to scalp, right? People want to get into scalps, and finally Cardano did get that major leg to the upside here. So that was on Thursday. It is the weekend, guys. I'm not really expecting major moves. I think it's just going to be a very, very rangy zone. It's also good, don't get me wrong. I mean, it is good. Cardano now getting a pretty, it's just going to be very rangy, guys. The movements are going to be very small, right? Maybe 1% or 2%. Sometimes it's just not worth it. What we can do is be ready for some scenarios. And I mainly trade Bitcoin, guys, as you know, right? Most of my followers know that I mainly trade Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is where I make my big trades, right? On, altcoins. Sometimes I'd rather have a massive spot buy, right, on altcoins. But yeah, sometimes we get into a few altcoin trades. I do have my analyst in the Telegram that does provide some epic altcoin analysis and trading setups. If you're interested in that, guys, make sure to join the Telegram down below, okay? Join the Telegram, okay? It's the first link, and we can hop you into the Signals channel. Make sure to DM me. We're going to go through Bitcoin, okay? It's all going down, says Meg. Yeah, got a bit of hype throughout last week. All going down. It is correcting, right? When you zoom out, we've had some really interesting legs to the upside, okay? Now, I want everybody to be a little bit aware that just looking at Cardano, for example, and what we talked about the other day was a scalp, guys. You get to the highs and you get out. Okay, a nice little move of 4 or 5%, you made your gains, right? But Cardano, for example, could correct down. We revisited the highs, a little bit of a swing failure pattern from the highs of May, and this could actually get some kind of a correction in the next coming weeks, which will bring us the next big swing long position, right? Because whoever longed Cardano just a couple of weeks ago then is making some really nice gains, right? We went from the 50-60 cent level to 80 cents. That's a really nice big move of 30-40%, right? Oh, I missed out, right? Well, if you are going to be following the channel, you're a new subscriber, we'll be detecting the next opportunity, guys, right? We're coming into August in just about 10 days, right? Summer is usually a little bit choppy and rangy. Most of the times, of course, we got a really nice leg up here throughout July on Bitcoin and a lot of the altcoins. So you're kind of feeling I missed out, right? I get that, guys. I get that feeling of, oh, I missed out. Shall we all FOMO long to the highs? And let me just tell you on Cardano, for example, right, where we formed the lows here on the 23rd of June. When you analyze that movement, you got the first initial legs to the upside, which most of the people, hear me out here, guys, are going to believe it's a bear flag, okay? This is why trading can be a little bit, very, very complex. But you got this, higher high, higher low, but you're coming from a major downtrend. This is going to break down. Come on, guys, it's bearish. And then you have the major leg to the upside, which is everybody's like, wow, what happened here? Right? This does look bearish. It looks like a bear flag. But when you analyze the waves, you realize, it definitely, Elliott wave theory, guys, gives you that edge. It definitely gives you that edge, okay, against the basic technical analysis, which is downtrend, bear flag. Let's all short the bear flag, right? Or whatever. Elliott wave theory does really give you that advantage of realizing what is the highest probability movement to the upside or to the downside. You really actually know. So what happens here, you have that major first couple of 1-2s, right? And then you have your major breakout here, your fourth wave, right? And then your legs to the upside, which you would label as the fifth wave, right? So this is dangerous to FOMO long, especially after you revisited the highs. You would rather prefer look for short positions here as a swing trade, because this can correct down to 70 cents or even 60 cents in the next 1 to 2 weeks. And this is the zone where people are going to say it was all fake. It was a fake pump, and people are going to start really in doubt. They're going to be in doubt. But this is what we want to detect, guys. We want to detect the next major leg to the upside for the next coming weeks in the case of Cardano, because, you know, Cardano did get that major leg up from the 23rd of June in the last few weeks. Big rally, big wave in the middle. So it is very likely that you will correct down to at least the 382 most commonly, which is sitting at 75 cents. It's not too far away. You know, and even lower if you're labeling a new wave 2 here. Most commonly is 50% to the 7.8 in the case of Cardano. So it's probably going to take 1 or 2 weeks to actually range and correct, but we'll be ready. I do have a few altcoins and we'll be ready on the channel to say, guys, this is the moment to get into the big swing long, right? And these opportunities don't come very often, but we'll be very slowly detecting that on stream on a few altcoins, just to, you know, I want everybody to take advantage, right? The other day, it was a scalp, guys. This is a scalp, but I'm interested in big moves, guys. If we can get into 70 cents to hold to $1 or $1.20, right? This is looking at a possible, you know, almost a 2x, and with a bit of leverage, detecting that correction. It's a swing trade that could take a couple of weeks, but you could make some really interesting gains, right? So this is a scalp, guys, and scalping is aggressive. You know, nice little move of 4 or 5%. Whoever got into this Cardano trade based on the previous stream, well, you know, congratulations. You know, very, very good. But we're interested in very big swings. So anyway, let's go right away through the price of Bitcoin. All the people bought at 123K. I don't think so. But yeah, maybe some. You know what is curious, guys, is friends and family. Let me know in the comment section, because I know most of you that are following have been in crypto for at least a few months, right? I don't think there's very new people here watching the stream, right? I'm only new. It's my first day or my first week, right? I know a lot of you people have been here for many months, if not years. Let me know in the comment section if any of your family or friends have sent you a message already saying, hey, I can see Bitcoin hitting all-time high. Is it altcoin season? What altcoin do you think is going to pump next, right? And I've had already a few people, guys, old friends and family that are, you know, already sending those messages. And I'm like, no, don't do that, because, you know, that's a first sign of getting a correction. Right, it's the first sign of getting a correction. Messages from family and friends that are, you know, have no idea of investing or crypto or anything, right? Which is, yeah, anyway, let me know. Appreciate you, Andy. How was your golf session today? Eric, it was epic. It was very good. It was a tournament here in Spain that I, you know, went, and it was absolutely awesome. It's always very good. The top isn't in for me. Yeah. I'm not saying that the top is in, but a corrective move is very, very much possible. Okay, so anyway, let's go through Bitcoin, guys. And Bitcoin, we did discuss that we are in a, you know, very, very much a bullish move to the upside. Just a quick explanation on why I think that the bearish case scenario has low probability. And that is because if we are looking for an ABC flat, this is the daily chart, guys, which eventually would be breaking down to 90K and even testing below 75K. The main reason this has low probability is because when you have a three-wave structure to the upside in your ABC flat, right? A, B, and then a C flat right over here. If you're thinking that this is the top at 123K, what you need to form in a zigzag in your C wave, which is from your A, B, and C, is a 5-wave structure, okay? You need some kind of 5-wave structure in this leg to the upside since the lows of the 23rd of June. And it's very, very complicated here to actually detect that 5th wave, okay? it's, for me it's clear, guys, but maybe not for you. But this is why I want to explain it, right? In that zigzag third wave, in the C wave in this case, you want to see a 5-wave structure. So it's pretty clear that we have the correction here in a 3-waver. You've got the high, lower, low. This is the problem right now. It's very 3-wavy. It's very 3-wavy. And, this is, the main reason why there's high probability that this is a corrective move, and that at some point you will take out the highs, regardless if you break out later on to the downsides, But taking out those highs, all-time highs at 123K, still has the highest probability, right? And this is just one reason why. Because if you have a zigzag 3-waver to the upside, this last wave needs to have 5 waves to the upside. And when you count the lows, pump, corrective structure, and another big pump, you kind of need the last leg up if you want to break down, right? So that's just a simple reason, guys. There's other scenarios as well, but that would be one of the main ones, right? So yeah, we got a 3-wave move up, right? You got a bit of a 3-wave move to the upside here. So with the highest amount of volume. So it would be nice to see at least another leg up if it is going to be bearish. So right now on the scenarios, on the lower time frame, 30-minute, 15-minute, we talked about this throughout Thursday, that the range is likely to continue right throughout the next coming days. This is why it's been a little bit boring, legends. So it is what it is. But the good thing is detecting that it is going to be boring, right? We know where we're going to reject. We know that the range is going to continue, despite your favorite crypto influencers saying that we're going to blast off to $160,000 or $200,000. We realize that a stop here is likely for the next coming days, right? So we're not really surprised on this. So my question right now, realizing that still the highest probability is taking out new all-time highs again, is what kind of a structure are we developing? Because in a corrective structure, wow, you can use your imagination. You can have a zigzag, you can have a sideways WXY, which can be very, very complex, and we could be developing that throughout today and tomorrow, right? So as mentioned on Thursday, I didn't do a stream on Friday, guys. Sorry about that. Anybody that was waiting for a stream, I did get a comment on somebody saying, when are you going live? And I was like, sorry, not today. Anyway, when we do take a look at this, guys, we do realize this would be too fast for the end, right? So we do have the first leg down. We do have a 3-wave move to the upside, getting the rejection at the most, the hardest confluence area, which is the golden pocket from all-time high to the low, and those lower highs that we mentioned for the best short scalp day trade, guys. Let me know if anybody got into a short position here at 120.5, because it was the level to reject from, right? Realizing that it would be unlikely to form a V-shaped recovery. Anyway, it's just a little day trade here to the downside, guys. We realize how the price could continue ranging throughout, today and tomorrow. Scenarios that could happen. We mentioned this on Thursday. Between today and tomorrow, there will be that moment, guys, that it clicks, where it's like, now, right? The opportunity is waited for, but when the pattern is formed, you need to take action. Because if you do not take action, the price will leave without you, right? If you do not take action on possible scenarios and levels that we talk about that could be developed, we were very bullish a few weeks ago. if you're a new subscriber, don't worry. There's opportunities every time, right? You know, even on the previous stream, we talk about Cardano, guys. Bam, we get into the long here, guys. Long here, boom, stop loss at the low. I don't say you to long, but this is a level where to bounce, right? There's always opportunities, so, you know, not to worry. But if you want to get into the big swings, right, where you can make some interesting gains, right, throughout the previous weeks, you know, if you don't take action, you'll miss out. Right, and you know, just because it's the weekend and we're not going to get major day trade scalping opportunities because it's going to be boring. We might get 1% up, 1% down, maybe on altcoins 2% up, 2% down. So it's not, we don't expect major movements. This is why we're here. We're here to get ready on the different scenarios. And just like on Thursday, guys, here on Bitcoin, you know, we realize that, yeah, the low can be taken at 115.6K, right? The lows from last July, from the 15th of July. This could still be an ABC movement, right? And maybe this is so obvious, guys. It's such an obvious scenario that maybe everybody's looking for a three-wave structure and let's all long together here and everybody make some money, right? It's not that easy, but maybe we form some kind of another structure here, which could be a WXY sideways corrective structure. These are very complex. They do happen once in a while. There is a valid WXY here, or even a WXY counting all of this, where you have a flat three-wave structure to the upside, a triangle, and movement up. They do happen a lot, guys, okay? We were very much aware of this scenario. This is why, you know, I was looking for longs in this area because of the pump here. We had a 5-wave pump, sideways momentum. Guys, I'm looking for a WXY potentially here, especially in the Telegram. I mean, this was already, you know, over a week ago, which is, you know, this main long position that was taken right over here from that sideways corrective move. You know, we're looking for an all-time high to be hit. So the same thing could be happening here. I just want to get people ready on how the price could develop. And yeah, without a doubt, a regular ABC or a WXY double zigzag, you know, to claim below 116, 115K is a possibility. Okay, just be aware that this scenario could happen where you get that movement down beneath the lows of last Tuesday and also the higher low here that we formed on, you know, the 11th of July. It's very, you know, we very much could form that, just a regular three-wave structure. And we want to reclaim all of these lows at 115.5K, right? We want to reclaim the level bullish market structure to be confident in the long positions, okay? You don't want to be the guy that wants to really catch the lows, guys. You know, people could get very emotional. You could break down. You want to change, you know, see that strength, see that proof of support. Because if the market needs to recover and get to the highs, you will have that initial stage of strength. It happens, right? It won't V-shape out of nowhere. Right? Test the lows and after an hour, boom, all-time high. You know, you will see some strength and some proof of support to take that decision, right? So just for all of those people that are very emotional, right? Just you know, just be patient, right? The market will tell you if you're finding support and you're changing the local structure, right? You just revisit it, claim of liquidity. There'll be time, guys. You can long here, you can long here. You can long here. Don't worry. If the movement needs to happen to claim the highs, we will see some strength. Anyway, a regular zigzag is very much possible. Claim the lows right over here. We talked about how this level, you know, is very, very common. High probability when you have a high volume candle, okay? High volume candle buying pressure, the first higher low that is formed, regardless the structure later on, it is very, very common to, you know, to bounce if you sweep up the low. If you sweep up that higher low from a high volume candle, it is very common to see proof of support and bounce. Extremely common. Extremely common. So if it is extremely common, if the price comes down here and gets a reaction, I want a long. I want to get into a long because I know it's a very, especially with bullish market structure. So if that low is revisited and we reclaim the level, it's an interesting level to possibly get into a long position. Good risk management. Don't go all in. Don't bet the house. But it's small percentage to look for some gains in the next coming days, or if not 1 or 2 weeks, right, till we hit all-time high. So anyway, other scenarios, right? Because so many people, so many experts on YouTube talk about this, the 3-wave structure. I'm sure, guys, this is the bread and butter that you do see on the expert, technical analysts out there. Because I know every single one, and I like to take a look at them just to see what happened, what they're talking about, right? So overall, a corrective structure can be very, very complex, right? Can be very, very complex, especially in a wave 4. Wave 4s can be the most complex corrective structure that you've seen in your life before you actually take out the highs, right? And the clearest example, right, is that correction that happened in 2024. Who the hell knew what was going on here? Eventually, some expert analysts out there, did eventually know that this was going to pop out. But we knew that this was corrective back in 2024, but just for, very, very complex, revisit the lows. We're going to go down to 30K. We're going to go pump here to 78K. People are just getting really chopped up in this zone. And, sorry, guys, I might be losing it here. Anyway, the point that I want to mention, a triangle would be very easy. A triangle here would be very easy, okay? You form a higher low. You got your high here already in a zigzag. We could really detect this scenario as a WXY, okay? If we form a lower high, a higher low throughout today and Sunday, and we form those lower highs and higher lows, we're looking at a triangle here. We're looking at a triangle, and a triangle after a major move up, hitting a high, where you get a movement down and a lower high, and then you form a triangle, is very common to break up, right? And the clearest example would be this one right over here. You got your leg up, very impulsive, correction, leg to the upside, and surprise, surprise, you got a bit of a triangle formation. You got some lower highs and higher lows, bang, surprise, surprise. From a major pump, correction, bounce, triangle, up we go. It's possible that we could be forming this in the next couple of days. You want to be ready and you want to be positioned, right? So give it a bit of time, because there's some other scenarios that could develop, guys. Okay, there's some other scenarios that could develop. Eventually, one is taking out the low and one is taking out the high. But as soon as you have one wave, 2, 3, 4, that's the moment that you realize, yeah, this is a triangle. The probabilities in breaking up here, then down, are extremely high. So you realize that you need to be a little bit patient in this area, right? If you want to get into that new long position, just being a little bit patient here, legends. Okay, so let the price develop, and if we form a couple of lower highs and higher lows, and you have 4 waves, 1, 2, right? We've got 1 wave already. We could be on the formation of the second one. Literally what you're looking for here is an A, B, C, D, E, right? Which could be on the formation between today and tomorrow. So wait for that lower high, wait for another higher low, and then things could be looking spicy, right? Could be looking very good. What is also a common scenario in a sideways complex WXY, which gets a lot of people a bit confused, is forming a flat. in your Y wave. So you got your first leg down already, and you got your leg up here on your wave X. What is also very common in a sideways WXY is a flat in your Y wave, right? And the flat in your Y wave, you do claim the top of your X, which is like moving up, boom, claiming the lows again, and then you have your ABC flat. The trick here is to wait for your C wave. Wait for your C wave. If you reject from this level, this is, you know, it's an acceptable swing failure pattern. Let's be honest. It is acceptable to take. Just like the one that was mentioned last Thursday, guys. Okay, we did talk about this swing failure pattern on the channel. You know, rejecting from 120.5k would be very, very likely, just because a V shape here is unlikely because of timing. Very straight move down for a correction. A V shape here, unlikely. It doesn't usually happen. So as we trade probabilities, we realize that a scalp day trade short 120.5k was your best option, right? So anyway, yes, you could get into a short on a double top here. I'm personally not too interested because I'm out and about. But what I would be interested is in that long, guys. If you do claim the highs and, you know, a flat usually creates that volatility, especially when you create the C wave. So I would be interested in the long, in the double bottom long here. Very, very interested to claim all-time highs. So it is the weekend. Very common to continue a corrective structure. And let me just talk about how not only there is high probability in taking out all-time high, but there is high probability in taking out 120.9k, the highs here from Friday. And do you know why? I know why. I know why there's high probability in claiming these highs right over here, regardless of whatever happens in this area. I know why, guys. Let me know if you know why in the comment section, why there is extreme high probability to get back above 121k basically. I can explain that in the next coming minutes. But are you a scalper? I used to be more of a scalper, if I'm honest. Very much a scalper in the last few years. It's only been recently in the last few months that I want to kind of chill and swing trade. I will get back into scalping and day trading, especially for the community, because I've got a community where you know, a lot of people want trading setups. And guys, I'm visiting friends and family at the moment, and I am looking to get to Dubai in about 2 weeks from now, and I'm going to be on my own. I got no misses, no, you know, it's going to be on me on my own. I want to get to the gym and really computer time and day trade and scalp, and that's going to happen in a couple of weeks, and I really want to get going. But I'm visiting friends and family, and I'm just getting into very boring swing trading setups at the moment. But I will get back in August into scalping and day trading. And the first to know will be the Telegram community eventually, the Signals channel and the Discord, because I will be very, very active. I'm not that active at the moment. I am active, but it's basically more chilling trade setups, right? But I will be getting into scalping, because scalping is very lucrative, guys. And it's easy once you are head on, you have your coffees, right? I like to have 2 or 3 coffees, guys, and really concentrate on on really looking for some scalping opportunities, which is not difficult. You just need to remain patient. And the Cardano trade the other day on Thursday, guys, is, you know, just a simple overview of a nice day trade, right? Which let me know, guys, maybe you that watched the stream, I had to talk about this at the beginning of the stream. Maybe some of you guys did get into this Cardano scalp long between 78 and 79 cents, just to claim the highs again, right? Which is easy to detect, right? It's easy to detect that this is corrective. in simple terms, a descending wedge, right? Or bull flag, if you wish. But anyway, put up. What's going on, Pac-Man, my man? What's going on here? Yeah, bro, are you allowed to put this here in the comment section? Come on, I got my mother here sometimes supporting me. I hope she doesn't read these comments, these spicy comments from Pac-Man. Anyway, my goodness, sometimes I think that you guys are talking crypto in the comment section here. And yeah, then we got Pac-Man, one of my mods. What's going on? Am I missing something here? Anyway, I'm still holding my 100 long on XRP since $2.2. Absolutely awesome. Yeah, I mean, if anything helps, we did take a look at XRP a few days ago. I got a few altcoins, guys, but maybe you're not that interested on altcoins, but we were very bullish, guys, on XRP, and it all had to do with this 3-wave move down that we had from all-time high, or basically the highs that were created in January, and then this overlap that we had. Oh my goodness, this movement right over here is extremely corrective, activity. You would not expect a bear market to happen from this movement that happened in March, guys. It was February, March. So we were just leaning on XRP. Whatever's happening here is corrective. We're looking for the highs to be taken in the coming weeks. We got, who was it? Warren, just a few days ago saying, you remember you saying about XRP hitting all-time highs in the next coming months or weeks? Well, we're already hitting it a few days after, so yeah, there we go. Anyway, okay. Okay, you said you had lots of spare time to spend in front of the computer. Okay, now I get it, my man. I get it right now. Render technical analysis, Ray XX. Let's go through render, guys. Anyway, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. We talked about Bitcoin, how the range is probably going to continue, guys. It's very common for the weekend. So a triangle is an option. A flat, claim the highs, then the lows is also an option. And claiming the lows of last Tuesday is also an option, which you form that zigzag, right? And then you get that major rally. So we got a few options. I would not want to have new participations in the market if we break down here. Okay, if we do not reclaim 115.5, if we were to revisit it, I would not want to participate in long positions unless we see a reclaim of the lows or bullish market structure. Then I will, re-enter long or add to the position. And if we break down, I just would not want to, take part of that move till we actually find support and form a range, right, where we do detect the highest probability movements, right? So you've got XRP had years of cup and handle. XRP is going a lot higher. You're welcomed, says Slegna. We've been talking about that for a long time. I mean, when we do zoom out on XRP, I'm not sure if it's on the total crypto here. If we take a look at the, we literally been talking about that multi-year pennant, okay, that can project the price of XRP to go to $10 and maybe $20. I'm skeptical about $20, guys, but very possible above $5, maybe hitting $10, and $20 as well, right? So what has happened here? Somebody says you're welcome. I've been here for years. Don't welcome me, man, because we've been talking about major cryptos, Bitcoin, higher time frame, lower time frame. We are traders, okay? Don't welcome me, because we've been talking about this already a long time ago, where we formed a multi-year pennant, right? A multi-year corrective structure, right? that will likely get an explosive breakout, right, in the next coming months, right? As we do analyze this many months ago, right? And that, well, even years ago. So anyway, yeah, this was mentioned, right, where we were looking for higher prices on XRP, not only, you know, in 2023 and 2024, but also, you know, throughout the last couple of months, right, where we have been correcting, well, in June mainly. So yeah, I mean, higher prices on XRP is the highest probability. You're welcome. Yeah, we've been here for years, guys. Since 2020, the channel, you know, I was already 3 years before the channel, and the channel was just something that came up. So it's been many years. Andy told us long time ago, my man, says SK101. Yeah. So anyway, XRP, throughout the latest move, guys, whoever's been a follower throughout the last few weeks, you know, very much realizing that, you know, XRP is likely going to form a higher low here and take out the high. So, you know, to take some profits on XRP, why not? But whoever's maintained or got into new longs, then eventually is very happy right now with the movement. And taking profits is always good, guys. Do you want to take some profits on XRP here as it's struggling at the highs? I believe that higher is likely, but it's always good to take some profits if you're in some, right? Are you a 𝗬𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗁 or a Madridista? A 𝗬𝗿𝗆, anybody that doesn't know, is from, you know, Barcelona fan, right? Madrid, my man. I'm a Madrid fan, always been, okay? Never Barcelona. Andy, you're missing ICP chart today. Yeah, we can take a look at ICP. And ICP, it's bullish long term. I'm a little bit skeptical on this movement, guys, that we talked about on a stream a few days ago. Very skeptical on this movement. It is hard to find a leading move, a leading impulse to the upside, and I'm a little bit skeptical, guys, on ICP, on the possibility of revisiting the lows before we moon. Okay, so, you know, I'm bullish on ICP on the higher time frame, legends, but I'm a little bit skeptical on, could we moon in the next coming weeks without revisiting the lows, or will we revisit the lows and then moon? Regardless, moon is the only option on the higher time frame, right? And, you know, this is the level of confidence that we have on this, okay? Unless the project collapses and they have a liquidity crunch and it does get that 90% drop, right? 99% drop. Unless that happens, right, which we never know. This is why we want to diversify and do not go all in, right, on these different altcoins. The level of confidence based on the chart for the next, you know, few months is actually getting an epic rally. And, you know, I've just done this, but literally to claim the $20. My overall question is, you know, are we going to revisit the lows again? And it all comes to looking for an impulse to the upside. And this was talked about on the previous stream or the previous streams, right? We have really an issue here, really an issue on this movement that, you know, it just doesn't look impulsive. And for an expanding diagonal, you know, your fifth wave is not longer than your third wave, and it's, you know, really a requirement. So anyway, we're bullish, guys. You know, I've been buying ICP here, significant ICP. I'm literally going more spot trade here. Just buy a bunch. If we revisit the lows, I'm going to buy another bunch, guys. You know, just keeping it simple here. So anyway, let's any thoughts on Ethereum? Yeah, Ethereum is looking very spicy. Ethereum is looking awesome. I wanted to talk about the total 3 market cap legends, but let's talk about Ethereum. I think Ethereum, let me know in the comment section, guys. Did anyone buy or long Ethereum throughout, April and, basically the dip that we had in this zone, guys? Because it was pretty, I was very, very vocal about this scenario being the last dip before a major rally in the next coming months. The dip beneath this low was the confirmation to look for that ABC flat. And we were talking about this, right? We'll go through lower time frames, and Ethereum's extremely bullish. I'm just looking at Ethereum to take out $4,000 in the next coming weeks, guys, or days, or give or take. Because it is very likely that you are in a third wave or in a double 1-2 setup, right? Where if you do get a sharp pullback, guys, we will be ready on stream to say, legends, this is a correction. We're looking for an explosive breakout. And the good thing, if you do form a corrective move from this point, is that a double 1-2 brings a more explosive breakout to the upside that if you do not form a double 1-2. So yeah, anyway, just several weeks ago, we were very much ready on this movement where we're already analyzing a 3-wave move down, a double zigzag to the upside here, where you have zigzag up, correction move, zigzag up. And we were analyzing here before claiming the lows. Guys, this is moment to DCA or whatever strategy you have. Low leverage, long positions. You need to be cautious with the leverage because a lot of people just go 20x or 30x. And that would be a lot. But you can go with 3x or 4x and leave some dry powder. But, I just kept it simple with just buying some on spot. And I sometimes I suggest that when we look at DCAing. But we were looking for that flat. Right, and what we were very skeptical about is, where's the low going to be exactly? Well, we don't really know, but dipping down $1,000 would be unlikely, right? So this was an insane buying zone. Anyway, going through Ethereum, for the moment, what we're labeling this leg to the upside is a wave 3, right? We're potentially hitting the 1-to-1 extension. Yeah, just about, depending on where you put this pivot. 1-to-1, if you detect this high or this one, there is a little bit of a funky flat possibility here. We're just hitting the 1-to-1 extension. This is where we're reacting, right? This wave is the same length as this one, and that's where we are reacting at the moment. So there's 2 scenarios on Ethereum right now. We continue up in the next, coming weeks or a few days to actually, see this as a massive wave 3, or we create a double 1-2, and a double 1-2 would be absolute fire, guys. If we do correct down, if we do get that little shakeout from the little hype that we've got in the last 1 to 2 weeks, right? This would be absolutely epic, right? We would be ready, guys. It would just be it would just be a great opportunity. And summer usually doesn't have, okay, I mean, of course, this might be the summer where volatility kicks in. I remember in 2020 where we had the DeFi summer. Who was in crypto in 2020? Holy moly, if you take a look at Chainlink, 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽, Synthetic, all of these DeFi projects, we had a summer that was absolutely crazy. Sorry, this was 2019. Pretty crazy. So maybe we do just continue with the hype and pumps on altcoins. But if we were to get that corrective structure, guys, which is probably going to take 1 or 2 weeks, then eventually what we would be labeling this scenario is a double 1-2 you know, on the higher time frames, guys. I'm not going to go too crazy on lower time frames here, but there's high probability in claiming all-time high in the next coming months. We've been very much vocal about that since we broke down the low, guys. We're looking for this reversal. We're looking for a reversal here to happen. And right now, keeping it simple and easy for the viewer, it's either a third wave, right, 4-5, or it's actually a double 1-2. If we get the double 1-2, there's going to be a very good opportunity, just so you don't FOMO in here at the highs. But anyway, there's time for that. So it's higher or correction and then higher. You have patron. I did manage to count on 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗍𝗍 leading expanding diagonal and sent on Telegram and in the basic chat. You have patron. Much love. Remember that the expanding diagonal, the fifth wave, needs to be longer than the third wave. Okay, maybe on some other charts, other people, you know, other exchanges, you do have maybe that leg that's been larger. Over 400 watching, like the damn channel, says here my man Ghost of Brick City. Yeah, guys, if you do smash up that like button, I'm not going to ask for it anymore, guys, because it's pretty lame. But if you can smash up the like button, it would be very much appreciated. Your legend, smash up the like. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍𝗽 here, giving the love and support. So yeah, not much more here to talk about Bitcoin legends. Bitcoin is really just kind of ranging. Jerome here, what's going on here with the flag? Really ranging. We talked about the scenarios. A little bit of boring momentum eventually for the weekend, and yeah, a few altcoins looking spicy, guys. Remember, if you are interested in trading, we got some epic deals, guys. I trade on Bluffin, Weeks, 𝗞𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍. You know, I do have a diversification of my funds on different trading platforms. If you are interested in trading, these are absolutely epic. They just require an email and a password, and you do get these great bonuses. 20% cash back on Bluffin, all of these different perks. And you do have Weeks where you get 25% fee reduction also, apart from the 20% deposit bonus. You have it in the pinned comment, or also the fourth link or the second link, guys. Bluffin or Weeks are absolutely great. Okay, they work fantastic. They have hundreds of altcoins, and you get those bonuses, guys. Make sure to take advantage. You can buy on spot, or you also use leverage. Thanks for the stream, Andy Jerome. Much love to you, brother. Render technical analysis. Okay, we got Ray XXN9 here. Till next time, much love, Jerome. Have a great Saturday. Not only you, Jerome, all of the legends. Somebody asking for render, which is, oh, it was RNDR. They have changed the ticker symbol. One of the most hyped, okay, one of the most hyped AI projects. Let's take a look at it. Okay, we're going to go through the crypto one here, because this is where we have more data. But yes, confirmed corrective structure. Confirmed corrective structure here, guys. Whoever is you know, has render or bullish on render on the higher time frame, we ain't going to go through the 15-minute here, guys. We're just going to go through higher time frame for someone that asked for it. It looks bullish, and the main reason why it looks bullish for the moment, okay, because if you created one more low on render, I would be skeptical about the situation of being bullish here, because what could be on the formation is a contracting diagonal to the downside, where you have a three-wave move down, a three-wave move up, right? And, you know, if you do get one more low, I would count this as a three-wave down. If you do get another move to the downside, contracting diagonal is definitely a possibility. But we ain't going to go with the bearish case. You know, eventually you get that rally and then back down. Anyway, regardless, we're looking at this to be a corrective structure. Okay, it is corrective. I don't know why I talked about that bearish scenario, which for the moment we need a lot of information. It's pretty clear that this has a major rally to the upside with high volume. And what you have is a three-wave move down with an awesome rally, getting to the lower high. This is usually very bullish when you're coming from an uptrend. If you form this kind of price action, 3-wave down to get, and you claim that lower high on the next move up, yeah, you're looking at this to be some kind of a corrective complex structure, which eventually is looking for a rally to take up the highs. Okay, in this case, all-time highs on render. So higher time frame looks bullish on render. 3-wave move down, 3-wave move up, claiming the lower high. It's very, very likely that what is forming here is a corrective structure, and you are looking for new highs on render, right, in the next coming months. Just not going to keep it too complex here. Bitcoin to continue the range. Jerome, much love. Wow, great chart. RNDR, yeah, looks very, very good on the lower time frames. We could be starting an impulsive move to the upside in a double 1-2 structure, right? It could be the start of a double 1-2 structure, but we ain't gonna go. And you really forgot my 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗁. 𝗖𝗿𝗆𝗍. What is this? Let's go not too much into these different altcoins. 𝗖𝗿𝗆𝗍. Sweep. Poof. Yeah, I'm not sure if we are interested in taking a look at this, my man. I have no idea what it is. Is it a launch pad, right, on the 𝗖𝗿 blockchain? I would assume so. It's a launch pad, right, on cryptos built on 𝗖𝗿, just by the name of it. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's definitely at the base here, right? Not much that we can say about this. It is at a base. The question is, will this base be the accumulation area, just as it's proven, right, throughout the previous few months and even years? 𝗖𝗿𝗆𝗍. Yeah, this could be it, guys. I mean, this could be the accumulation. Well, guys, I'm saying here for somebody. Well, usually if you're at a base, there's not too much selling pressure in the lows, and there's more buying pressure. So there's not really much to analyze on this on the lower time frame. Just really choppy volatility. Higher time frames, if you are bullish on this project, this is really the best zone to buy before it pumps, right? In a nutshell. Not keeping it to, we ain't going to go too deep on that. So MMA shorts, or the regular 𝗖𝗿. Launchpad on 𝗖𝗿, says Aditya. Yeah. Andy, can we take a look at Fartcoin? Well, yeah, I bet Fartcoin is doing absolutely awesome. Let's take a look at Fartcoin right away. On the charts, we're kind of breaking out from this wedgie structure. It's incredible how these coins really perform, very, very well. Extreme high probability that we reclaim the highs here on Fartcoin from May. One of the main reasons why is because we have formed a 3-wave structure to the downside, and we're already overlapping in the last couple of weeks, right? Well, few days, the lower high from that movement down, giving no chance for the bears here to break down, and that the highs from May are very likely to be hit. We are also hitting the 0.88 Fibonacci from from the highs of May to the lows, which increases probability to take that high sooner rather than later than actually breaking down, just because it is rare to form a wave 2 after hitting the 0.88. And it's just more information, because you have a 3-wave structure. You're hitting the 0.88, you're hitting the last lower high. It's just very bullish, right? Uptrend momentum structure. It's looking pretty damn good. And the most bullish case scenario here on this one, and it's actually pumping today. It's pumping today quite nicely, is a multiple 1-2 setup regardless if this is your 1 2 1 2 1 2 bang, or multiple 1 2s, and it's just gonna absolutely rip here. Very, very bullish market structure, especially after forming a 3-wave structure to the downside, claiming the lower high here. This is just waiting for a big bang. So that's the analysis right over there on 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗏. It is looking very, very bullish. Very, very bullish. To claim those highs of May. Could it explode out and just take off? Or could it actually claim the highs, get a big pullback, and continue up? Well, overall claiming those highs from May is extreme high probability on 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗏, and we did form a corrective structure, right? The moment that after forming a high here, in the case of 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗏, right, this was just a few days ago on Thursday, the moment you hit the 0.88, right, and you get very, very close to the level, right, to the highs, you're looking at a very high probability corrective structure from the last higher low, and preferably 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci, right, is your best zone always to look for a long position. And this is keeping it very basic and simple, guys, for the people that are looking for major swings that could last, a few days. If you are in a bullish market structure and your correction hits almost the highs, right, hitting the 0.88 Fibonacci in this case, whatever happens here is likely going to be corrective, and you're likely going to form a higher low, which is the case right over here. And your best higher low option is in between the 50% to the 7/8, which is this box. So we are bullish here, right? We are bullish. We're looking for the highs to be hit on 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗏, which is actually getting a little bit of a pump today. Simple, easy peasy for the viewer. Ethereum has been checked out, okay? Market pumping now. Yeah, markets are pumping a little bit. We got the Bitcoin dominance getting a little bit of a pump. We're getting Bitcoin getting a bit of a pump. Bitcoin, highest probability, taking out the highs. We could claim the lows first, or form a triangle, or form a bit of volatility range flat, and then take out the highs. Crypto looks bullish. We have taken a look at Ethereum. Ethereum looks spot on, as mentioned, right, on the stream. Bitcoin dominance dropping, and we can see here on the poll that people are actually quite bullish. Some people are bearish, 45% for the next coming days. I mean, a corrective structure is not out of the cards here. Bitcoin pi cycle top indicator, one of the most accurate indicators out there on the higher time frame, not only for the top but also for the bottom of the bear market. This was extremely accurate for the bottom, guys, as well. The pi cycle bottom indicator, the moving averages are extremely separated from each other, and you want at least them getting closer, right, to get to that all-time high. But this is only an indicator. I'm not a fan of indicators, guys, as you can see, but it's just, I remember seeing this one on the previous cycle, not only for the top but also for the bottom, when people were calling for plus 100k and people were calling for sub 10k. And the price cycle bottom indicator did stop it by a couple of $1,000s. It was off, guys, just by a couple of $1,000s. Anyway, so we're very far away on the moving averages here, just for anybody that is wants to know about that. Render has been checked, my brother. What's going on? I did take a look at Render. We did take a look at it, just about 10 minutes. We don't trade CME gap, says Phantom. Very well said, right? They can provide support or resistance, but we literally don't trade as in we need to fill the gap, right? We don't need to fill the gap, but we do realize that the top or the bottom of a gap usually provides support, okay? I couldn't care less if we're going to fill the gap today or next year, right? It doesn't matter filling the gap. They provide support and resistance. That's what you need to know, because, we probably got some people talking about the gap throughout the entire week. CME gap, CME gap, CME gap. We need to fill the gap. We need to see the gap. Then there's lots of people talking about it. Who cares about the gap? We have so much data on Bitcoin that we just leave the gap later on, and then maybe fill it. It might fill up the next day. It might fill up in 4 weeks, or maybe never fill up, right? Forget about the gap. They do provide support and resistance, right? That's it. That's it, guys. This whole gap story is absolutely incredible. The data says that the gap does not need to be filled. It can get filled the next day or in 2 months. It doesn't matter. Okay, there's too much data that says that. So what it does provide is resistance or support. In this case, support. So the top of the gap, which is, we're looking at this as a level to be support regardless. Right, that's been mentioned, right? That higher low that we formed on the 11th of July, this might be confluence, the top of the gap, getting confluence, right? We never end up filling it and it actually gets supported. Could you fill the gap and then bounce? Also take it into consideration, the low of the gap, right? When you fill it, could get that bounce. You can consider it with your trading strategy, with your confluence support. But this whole nonsense of filling the gap the next day, guys, forget about it. It might not get filled. Leave the gap alone. It can be support. Anyway, well, Andy, Filecoin, please. Let's take a look at Filecoin. We're going to take a look at a few shakeout to CME gap low, then leg up. Very possible scenario. Let's take a look at FET. XRP support 3.35. I'm not sure. I haven't got anything ready on XRP, to be honest. But someone's asking for FET here for a long time. Let's take a look at FET here for one of the legends down below, guys. And FET can be traded on weeks on Bluffin. Remember, for all of you guys that are looking for a new platform to trade on just because you don't want to give more information, remember that on Bluffin or on weeks, you got the most insane bonuses down below, which is 20% cash back from your deposit, right? If you deposit, $1,000, you're getting $200 back, right? And also you have 25% fee reduction on Weeks Legends, okay? The fourth link down below for Weeks and the second link for Bluffin, they're both great, both got lots of liquidity, and they are extremely legit platforms, okay? You got those links down below if you want to sign up. Let's take a look at FET. Because, just talking about altcoins, you can trade them there. What do we have here on FET? Let's zoom out. I don't want to go too crazy here on the lower time frames, but we can zoom out on the higher time frame and see what's going on. See what's going on this one, this bad boy. This had a very explosive move throughout 23 and part of 24. Absolutely insane. Does this move look corrective on the higher time frame since 2024? We could be a little bit skeptical on this just because we have a little bit of a possible contracting move here. Could this be your A wave, zigzag B wave? And now, you got a bit of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one more low, and then you get the rally. I mean, we're very far away. It's all about looking at this movement to the upside, actually, which could be impulsive, right? The leg up that we had could be impulsive. 1, 2, 3. Leg up, another leg up. Yeah, it does look like more impulsive just because you have your first leg up here. You 3, 4, 5, right? You got a little bit of an extra leg here. It could also be a double zigzag correction, zigzag coming from a downtrend. You do have the double 1, 2 scenario. Anyway, this movement down is what we can confirm that it does look corrective. Okay, we have a little bit of doubt in this movement up, but if you're in doubt of the movement up, you need to check the movement down. And the movement down looks more corrective than impulsive, just because you have the 3-wave move down, leg up here, overlapping this pivot. So eventually you want to label this as a flat structure and then another zigzag down. So you do have a double zigzag in this movement down that we've had in the last few weeks. So it is confirming that this is corrective, right? Multiple 1-2 setup not possible because you're already overlapping the lower highs. So it looks corrective. It looks good for artificial super intelligence, right? This token right over here to take out these highs at $1 almost, right, in the next coming weeks. So it looks very, very good. Nothing too serious. Not going to do some very, very fancy TA on the lower time frames. Bitcoin analysis, this is the one that I mainly trade. This is where I'm looking to make my gains always, guys. Bitcoin, or not only holding but also trading. This is where I look for my main trading setups, and this is why we talk about it on the channel mainly, right? And altcoins is just a little bit of a bonus. Legends, thank you very much for joining the stream today. It's Saturday. Make sure to enjoy with your friends and family, okay? We'll be back with more, maybe a stream tomorrow. We'll probably wait. I think I'll do a private stream in the Discord tomorrow. It's about time to do a private stream on a Sunday and also provide more info in the Telegram Signals channel based on my Bitcoin trades. If you want any info on that, make sure to join the first link down below, which is the Telegram community. Legends, thank you very much. Enjoy your Saturday. Much love to everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.